So I'm working on this Town & Country. This came in on a hook, which is a fun way of saying it came in on a tow truck. But basically it would start and then stall. And the other significant issue, notable thing, is that when you would turn it on, the instrument cluster wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't illuminate at all. So it's kind of not in there right now. But basically the stuff up here would light up. You know, you've got your lights that are in this little bar here, but the one down here, it wouldn't light up at all. So what it'd do is it'd start, it'd run for half a second to a couple seconds, and then die. And what causes that is in your head unit, it's got a couple, well, what do I say? I don't know how to explain this, but basically solder joints, if they get vibration or temperature distortion or whatever, it causes them to fail. And there's a ground one. See if I can show this. When you look at these solder joints from a distance, they all look awesome. They all look totally fine. But when you look up close where the pins are, see the pins are on the back side of this. When you look right here, like this one right here is bad. There's a bullseye shape to it. You can see a circular break around the pin. So that one's bad, and this one on the end over here is bad. Man, I wish I could zoom in and show you. This one's bad, but basically all these pins on there are bad. And I called the dealer to see what they wanted for a whole new head unit, because I thought, I don't know, everything looks okay, there's no burn marks. So I call them, and lo and behold, my cost on it is $397.50. The price for somebody else is $530, and that's not for the whole head unit. They only sell just this printed circuit board, and so for just to replace this, and there's no burn marks, nothing's burned up, nothing's popped, nothing's blown open. You know, like sometimes these will blow open, and even those you can get from Radio Shack and fix it yourself. You know, assuming you have a nice soldering iron, and I have a very nice soldering iron. I got the 936 Hakko. Those things are sweet. So anyway, all I'm going to have to do is go through and just touch these and remelt the solder joints on this, and then everything will work. When I went to pull the unit out of the car, I go to start at nothing, you know, it's totally dead. I go start taking the screws out, and I had to pull the selector for the gear shift down into neutral, and I had to have the key on in order to do that. So I got the key on, I'm unscrewing the screws around the sides of it, and then guess what happens? It comes on, it wakes up because of the movement caused these pins to make contact. I know that now, I didn't know it at the time, but basically I saw that thing come alive, and I'm like, sweet, try it out. So I go to crank it, and as I'm cranking this sucker, what do you say? It's fired right up and just went awesome. So it's like, well, it's a pretty good chance that that's what the issue is with this. So I figured I'd pull it out. And you know, like I say, on my initial inspection, I'm going to stand right here. There's no particular reason I'm standing here, but when I went to pull it out, everything looked fine. And then when I went to pull the board and there's no burn marks, I thought, well, maybe it's just a solder joint. And I got online, I found a lot of people have had the same kind of issue. So the other thing that I was going to make mention of, the only burn marks that I found on the whole thing were, I found that on this one where the odometer and stuff is, you can see it's kind of burned on the corner there, and it's kind of burned on the corner here, but I guess that's common. I don't know what to think of that. I'd rather they weren't burnt, but I think it'll be fine. So what I'm saying is this is normal. Having the thing not come on is not normal. So, and I'm going to touch up the pins on this too. I think that'll help. So anyway, hope this video is helpful to you in getting your van up and running again. The cost, or I'm going to give you a little bit more information, because when you go to pull this out, what do you say, the printed circuit board, you don't have to pull any of the front part off. You can leave all that put together. You just got to pull the cardboard off of the back of this thing and unscrew that from here, from the back of here, and it'll just pull out. When you go to take the back of this out, it should come pretty easy. If there's some resistance, you know, look for another screw. With all those solder joints, it's easy to miss a screw. When you go to pull the cowling off, I'll bring this out here so you can see it. You have to pull the one that's on the ground or by your knees in order to get these ones down here. There's one here, one here, one here, one here, and the rest pops out pretty much. But there's also, don't forget the one down here, and then there's two on the side here. There's one here and another screw here. Once you pull those out, then you've got all of these body clips. You see on the back side there's a body clip, you know, every 4 or 5 inches along this thing. So I just grab it over the back side and pull it after I have all the screws out. One other little side note is that when you go to pull off the cover that goes over the steering column, you have to have a short screwdriver, little stubby Phillips, because there's a button that's in there if you have traction control, and there's no good way to unplug this little critter. See, it says track off. Track off, man. But there's a screw in the back of here and here that have to come out in order to pull that up and out of the way cleanly. And then your head unit's just held in by 4 screws. There's a couple on each side here, a couple on each side there, and then this pin. And there's no push button on this like what you'd find normally. It's actually on the unit. There's a pull tab. You pull the tab and then pull it out. So anyway, I think I covered everything. You should be able to do it with the information that I gave you. Thanks for watching my video. If you want to see more videos like this, click subscribe. If you haven't visited Eric the Car Guy, check out his channel. That guy's awesome. So anyway, he also has another channel called Eric the ETCG one, so where he does a vlog, and he's got some real pertinent kind of fun stuff. So check him out. Cheers. Just a couple little things I forgot to mention. There's always all these little things you forget to mention, right? So on this thing, the reason why the car doesn't run is the anti-theft stuff goes through this to the body control module. And so if your car thinks it's being stolen, that's why it only runs a couple seconds and then shuts down. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I do these. Basically what I do is I take the soldering iron. I think you'll be able to see there, but like you can, I don't know what to call this method. It's either going to be pinch a zip method of soldering or pillow fluffing. But basically, say this is the bad solder joint. I'm going to just do this for size. If that were the bad solder joint, I would come in with my solder iron that looks like a screwdriver right now. But I'd come in with this and I'd touch at the base and push against the wire in the base of the solder. I wish that would stand up. Oh, wonderful. See, I put it like that, put the solder on the other side, and then as soon as that gets hot, just kind of fluff up together, like go like that. It makes the whole thing melt together and it takes on a little bit more solder. Let's show you what it really looks like on these secondary ones. So I take my solder iron, and this is in real time, and I put it against the end there, and bam, that one's done. That one's done. 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 Kind of get momentum, huh? But you want a good shiny solder joint. These are all kind of cold soldered, so they just never got hot enough. It makes them brittle. Those are just going to be bomber. They're going to be awesome now. So that's how you do that. It doesn't take a whole lot of time once you get up and running and your solder iron's nice and hot. You do this, put it together, and then you won't have that security problem and your van will run. And then you're so happy. Yeah.